what up, Scaccia Fam? Welcome to a new YouTube video. This is a little bit different. It's not like I've never done it before, but you know, it's been a hot minute. It is after midnight. It is super late. I am not sleepy at all. And I am completely aware that I'm uploading a video a couple days later than I normally would. I don't have like a set schedule right now, but I am uploading once a week. I think I am over 7 days now. I had 2 4-hour gigs over the weekend, so my voice is just kind of tired. I didn't really have like the energy to like record another cover, but I was thinking about it, and I haven't done a questions video on this channel since 2020, and that's bonkers because at that time I didn't even have 100,000 subscribers yet. So I have a lot more Scaccia Fam, and as much as singing is what this channel is for, and it's like what I do, I think it is still pretty important that you guys who don't know me yet get to know me a little bit more, because there is like a human being, there's like a person behind these covers every single week, you know, not just like a singing robot, you know. I have like a personality, I have interests, I have all these things. So I think it's important. So I asked everyone on Instagram and YouTube a couple weeks ago, and then again yesterday, if you have any burning questions for me to answer, and thankfully there were quite a few. I will say, I have done a couple questions videos on my channel before, 2020 and earlier, so it's been a long time. Some of these questions, like a few of them, I've noticed are repeats from those older videos, probably asked by new people in the community. So for the most part, I probably will answer them again. Some of you were creepy AF with your questions, and as much as I love you all, some of those I will not be answering. Okay, so intro's out of the way. Let's just like get into it, okay? Let's get into it. I will be reading them off of my iPad, so I'm gonna just like, you know, I'm gonna try my best. First question, any upcoming Mariah covers? Which, as you know, for me is an amazing question, because Mariah Carey is my idol. I love her so much. To answer the question, I mean, I have ones that I still want to do. I still want to cover Butterfly. I want to cover Close Your Eyes. Close My Eyes from the Butterfly album. Sorry, it's late. I want to cover Butterfly. I want to cover Close My Eyes. Dream Lover eventually would be kind of fun. With You from the Caution album. There's so many that I want to do. Her songs are tough. You know, our voices are obviously very different, so I need to sort of like think about how I want to do them before I do them. But I have ones that I want to do, and I'm sure they'll happen eventually. Thanks for your question. How's your head? Really? Seriously, Avery? Really? I've never had any complaints. What keeps you motivated? This is like a pretty open-ended question, I feel like. When it comes to what keeps you motivated, I feel like this person is probably referring to my music career and like my channel and singing and all that stuff. For me, I am a very anxious person, so I am motivated by fear, but I'm also motivated by other things. The thing is, for me, is I'm 31 years old now, and a few years ago, I tried like a full-time career in something that wasn't music related at all. And, you know, I've tried that in and out of my life, you know, prior to a few years ago. And I learned that I was always miserable eventually. Like eventually, if I wasn't doing music, I was just miserable. And I realized that I can't have a life like that. So for me, the motivation is, not only do I want to make a career doing this, I kind of have to, because it's the only career where I feel like I'll be happy. You know, ask any musician, they'll tell you how tough it is to make a career doing this. It's, you know, it is very difficult, sometimes very challenging. You can get in your head, you can get very depressed and very anxious, but it's so worth it, because it's just like, it's just the best job in the world. I love it. Yeah, what motivates me is knowing that I would be miserable doing anything else. How did you get started singing live and on YouTube? So this is a question I think I have definitely answered before in previous questions videos, but again, it's been over 3 years. This person is probably new, so welcome to the Scaccia Fam. In terms of singing live, I'd always liked singing when I was younger, but I had my first real gig when I was like 15. I remember I went to Catholic school. I was still closeted at the time, and I wanted to join choir, and my parents were like, I don't know if you should do that, but I did anyway. And then I had some kind of solo or something, and my parents came to watch, and I guess they realized, wow, like he can really sing. And then I started taking lessons, and then I had my first like real gig at my cousin's wedding. Shout out to you, Michael and Amanda. I sang at their wedding when I was like 15. It was my first gig, and I guess that's kind of like the benchmark for me. That's when it started. And then on YouTube, I mean, I've had a YouTube channel since around I was 15 or 16, but I never really uploaded on it. For me, I started really uploading to YouTube in like 2018. The beginning of 2018, I spoke to my friend Greg, who I've mentioned on this channel before. Greg is a dear friend of mine. He helps me with my YouTube channel. He's honestly like my manager. He's amazing. I'm very, very lucky to have Greg in my life. And at this point, I had sort of reached a bit of a low point in my music stuff. Nothing was really happening for me, and I couldn't get it to work. So I met up with Greg for the first time in a long time, and he was the one who said, why don't you try uploading to YouTube once a week? Just like try it. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just do it once a week. Make sure you're consistent and then see what happens. And that was when I started uploading every single week, was in 2018. And I could not be more grateful for the fact that I started it, because I've got this amazing audience online now, which is really cool. And I have, a lot has kind of cultivated from it. So I'm very grateful. That's kind of how it all started. Who is one artist, living and or dead, that you'd absolutely love to duet with? A lot of you already know at this point it's Mariah Carey for me. I would do anything to sing with Mariah Carey, or even just like be in the same room as her. Another one would be John Legend. Those are kind of my two favorite vocalists. I don't imagine that changing anytime. So those are my kind of top two. If I were able to sing with someone, it would be one of those two for sure. Would you ever cover the English Sailor Moon opening song? Absolutely. I really wish, here's the funny thing, I wish I could show you my phone right now, but I'm using my phone to film this video. The back of my phone, my case is a Casetify iPhone case with Luna and Artemis on the back. So Sailor Moon was my favorite show when I was a little kid, and I would 1000% cover the opening song eventually, honestly. You guys know, like, I've done video game covers on my channel in the past. Stuff from TV shows is probably not far off either. If and when you get married, where would you want to spend your honeymoon? Oh, that's a good question. I feel like I'd want to go, I've always wanted to go to Japan. I feel like Japan is probably number one on my list of places to visit. If you ever want to book me for a gig, Japan, let me know. But I feel like Greece would be really beautiful for a honeymoon as well, or like Bora Bora or something. This is all assuming I had the money to do that, but I think maybe Japan, Greece, Bora Bora. Let's say that's like my top 3. Is there any specific song or artist that you just won't cover, and why? I feel like there used to be. I feel like there definitely used to be, but my friend Greg, when I started this a few years ago, he kind of was the one who talked me off the ledge and told me that I shouldn't really have any fear and that I should always push myself, even if I'm feeling insecure. So things in the past, like Whitney Houston in the past used to just be, I never would have in my life even considered covering something like Whitney Houston. But now I have so many Whitney covers on my channel. So I don't know if there's anything that I wouldn't ever cover. I've covered My All by Mariah Carey, which is another one I thought I'd never do. So I don't think there's any that I would never. Obviously, there are certain genres that I don't identify with as well. Like I don't listen to like heavy metal and stuff like that, so I don't know. But yeah, I don't think anything is necessarily off the table. I know what I like and I know what I don't like, but there's no specific song that I'm like, I just can't touch this song, You always find a way to make it work. Favorite Britney Spears song? Whoop! She has so many good songs. I think my favorite song still to this day is Piece of Me, which I think was from the Break the Ice album, but that song slaps. Piece of Me is great. That is my favorite, hands down. I'm gonna go listen to it before bed. Would you come to the UK to sing at my wedding in 2024? Yeah, if you've got the money to have me there. If you have the money to pay for my flight, accommodation, the gig itself, etc. Absolutely. Yeah, if you've got the money, nothing is off the table. I will definitely go and sing in the UK for you. 100%. Congratulations, by the way. I have 2 questions. What is the most difficult song you've covered? And do you sing outside of Canada? I'm in France. Again, this kind of harkens back to the last question. I do sing outside of Canada if you have the money for it. You know, considering the fact that like people would have to, you know, not only pay for me to work, to sing, but also flight, accommodation, all that stuff, food probably, like, you know, there's a lot that goes into hiring someone to sing from out of town. So it's definitely something that I would do if someone had the money to do it. Most difficult song I've covered, at this point there have been a lot. I still think My All by Mariah Carey is the hardest one I've done. Maybe Through the Rain. I covered Through the Rain in 2020, but I still think My All is harder. I remember I did like 5 takes or so, 4 or 5 takes of My All before I was like actually happy. Because when I record, I don't chop it up into bits and pieces. I record all the way through because I like my videos to be as live as possible. So if I mess up, I do the whole thing over again. So yeah, that one was really tough. This question, I got this one a lot actually. When are you coming to Brazil? Anytime. I mean, again, like, if I could go to Brazil to sing, I absolutely would. I know I have a lot of Scaccia Fam in Brazil, and I love them all, and it looks really beautiful there. I definitely want to go one day. That'd be amazing. How do you take a bleach stain off of gray shorts? Dude, I don't know. I don't wear gray shorts. I don't have the thighs for it. I'm sorry. What is wrong with you? What was your first music video you filmed? Well, I think you would just need to scroll all the way down to the beginning of my channel. And I'm pretty sure it's a duet of A Whole New World from Aladdin. And I think I sang it with this girl I went to high school with. Shout out to you, Catherine. That was the first video I ever filmed for my YouTube channel way back in the day. I was like 16. If you could perform in any city, which city would you pick on the East Coast? On the East Coast? Maybe somewhere in New York, you know, like New York, like Manhattan, like New York City would be kind of cool. Because I've actually never been to New York, so that would be super cool. Or Montreal. I do live in Canada, but I've never been to Montreal. I heard it's beautiful, so maybe one of those 2 would be super cool. What's your approach to singing songs by women where the key is a lot higher than your voice? Easy. Change the key. Honestly, and this goes to all of you musicians out there, because I'm so sick and tired of like even having to have this conversation. This is not about the person who's asking this question. This is just about other musicians that I know and other, like, normalize changing the keys of songs to fit your voice. Like, it is so crucially important. Like, just because you are a great singer or a good singer does not mean that every key is right for you. Think about people who sing the national anthems a cappella. They can't just start it in any key, you know? Every musician, every singer has their sweet spot in their voice, you know? And so for me, like, all the songs that I do, all the female covers that I do, I change the key for practically all of them. And I put them in my sweet spot where it's comfortable for me, you know? And this is the thing, that should be normalized, because you should never feel like you're limited. You should never feel like you can't cover a song because it's out of your range. Just change the key, transpose it, you know, take it down. Yeah, so that's my approach. I don't try to sing songs in the original key if they are well out of my comfort range. I will say that I have been singing for a long time, and now my upper register is a lot more developed than it used to be, so I can sing a lot higher in my mixed voice than I used to, and my head voice is very strong now too. So if I needed to sing higher, I have the years of practice and technique to do so. But why stress yourself out, you know? Especially, you know, for a weekly YouTube video, that's one thing, but if you're singing either by yourself or with a band or something, you're probably singing for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe more. Why stress yourself out by singing in a key that's uncomfortable for you? Change the key. Why not? Do you play soccer? Yes, I do play soccer. I've been posting a lot of like soccer photos to my Instagram lately, so it's probably less of a mystery at this point. I've been playing soccer since I was 5 years old. My parents were born in Italy, so like soccer is just kind of, it's like a rite of passage in my heritage. You're Italian, you probably play soccer. Yeah, so I've been playing since I was 5. I love it. I love playing sports. I've been posting a lot of photos of it lately because one of my teammates, Nicola, shout out to you, Nicola, has been taking photos of like all the teams and stuff. So that's been kind of fun. Yes, I do play soccer. I play volleyball too. Who are your vocal inspirations, excluding Mariah, because she's a given. See, this person knows that I'm a Mariah diehard. Other than Mariah, I'm definitely influenced a lot by John Legend, for sure. I think in terms of male vocalists, he's probably the one that's influenced me the most. When I was younger, I was definitely influenced a lot by Michael Bublé. I have kind of distanced myself from that influence now, only because I was getting compared to it a little too much, and I felt like I was starting to get pegged as like almost like an impersonation, and I didn't want that to be my story. But he is one. Billy Joel, for sure. Dua Lipa. In more recent years, I've definitely taken some inspiration from her. Adele as well. But Mariah Carey and John Legend will always be the top 2 for me. Favorite genres to sing? I think my favorite is probably R&B. Like late 90s, early 2000s R&B is probably my absolute favorite. But at this point, I kind of enjoy a lot of different genres. I think for me, it's not a matter of is this genre good? Is this song good? Like, is this song fun for me to sing? It can be in any genre, you know? For example, I love singing Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams, which is kind of more on the rock side. I love singing anything R&B. I love singing a lot of diva ballads. I love singing Chicken Fried by the Zac Brown Band at a lot of my band gigs. That's a country song, you know? Like, it doesn't really matter about the genre. I can find a song fun to sing from kind of any genre. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start a cover channel on YouTube? Be consistent. That is what I have learned is the most important thing. If you are making content online in general, like cover channel or not, whether it's any sort of content across any platform, consistency is the key. You have to, like for YouTube, for example, I mean, of course, you know, I took a break last year, but otherwise, like I upload weekly, once a week at the very least, you know? If you're uploading to TikTok, for example, I know a lot of people have made their livings on TikTok or like their content on TikTok. You're gonna wanna be uploading on TikTok every day. Like, it will vary from platform to platform, but consistency will always be key. You don't need the best equipment in the world. You don't need, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect either. That was a thing that I had to really let go of when I was starting out in 2018. And I had my friend Greg to kind of talk me off the ledge and say, you know, not everything needs to be perfect. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't matter if you have like a fancy microphone or like a fancy camera. Just be consistent. Just keep uploading. Consistency is absolutely the key. It's kind of like going to the gym, you know? If you go to the gym once a month, you're not going to like see any results, you know? You're not going to see any sort of muscle growth or anything like that. But if you go consistently, you know, like 3 or 4 times a week for a couple months, you'll start to see results. That's kind of how content creation works too. Consistency. Most important thing. Favorite vocal warm-ups? Yeah, I've got a few for sure. For me, like, I have a lot of warm-ups, but I think certain things that I do to keep my voice kind of maintenanced, I think are the things that I like a lot more at the moment. Of course, I do a lot of warm-ups with like a straw. If you have any sort of drinking straw, you just put it in your mouth. This looks really obscene, but you put it in your mouth and you kind of blow into it and you make sort of like a woo. That will help with proper closure of the vocal cords. If you're struggling with like, if your voice is tired one day or there's like some swelling on your vocal cords, it helps. Lip trills are great. Just gentle sirens. I feel like a warm-up, and this is not like vocal exercises, this is like a vocal warm-up, should be very gentle, you know? think of it as like you're about to go for a jog or you're about to go and exercise. You're not going to go and run a marathon before you start your workout, right? You're going to do some really gentle, just to get things kind of moving, right? And that's exactly what you want for your voice as well. But the other thing that I really like doing at this point, I have a nebulizer called, from a company called Vocal Mist. I inhale steam from there. I have a humidifier that I sleep with at night, like, and I drink a lot of water. Like, I've learned in the last year or two that you can have great warm-ups and you can have great technique, and you should have those things. But if you're dehydrated, it doesn't matter. Like, you really want to make sure that there's ample hydration and like lubrication on your cords, in your throat. It's really important. What vocal tips would you give for belting? Oh, well, belting is tough. I'd say belting and like mixed voice are, you know, super kind of like more advanced topics. And I feel like every time you go online, you go on TikTok, you go on YouTube, every vocal coach has like a different approach or a different technique that they tell you, you know? And I don't think that there is just one right way to do it, for sure. There are lots of successful ways. But for me, some kind of minor tips I can give is obviously when it comes to all singing, but belting in particular, everything starts with air, right? Everything starts with your breath. You need to make sure you have enough air, right? You want to take a nice deep breath, not a shallow breath, and you want to make sure also that when the music is coming out, when the note is coming out of your mouth, that you're not holding your breath. Always check in and make sure that you're not holding, like if you have a bunch of leftover air at the end after you stop singing, that means that you've held some of that in. And when you're belting, you're gonna need a lot of air, especially if you're going higher, right? You need more air to get the note out, or else your note is going to fall flat. Other thing too, sing in front of the mirror. Have a look here and make sure that there isn't any like tensing up in your neck muscles here, because that can cause your voice to break. You know, it can cause a lot of issues, and it can kind of stifle the sound. Open your mouth, smile. I know it's crazy, but like that extra space plus lifting this will enable your soft palate to sort of raise as well, which creates even more space, will allow for the sound to come out. And then also get your tongue out of the way. A lot of people, like, they'll raise their tongue back, like, and no, you want to get it. You don't need to fully stick your tongue out, but make sure it's like kind of resting here, you know, right, just tickling the bottom of your, the back of your bottom teeth, maybe even out just a little bit, because there's a lot of tension under that tongue muscle. So the more you get it out of the way, the less you're gonna struggle. Basically, you want a lot of engagement, a lot of air, and as minimal muscle tension as possible. Favorite Broadway song to sing? Probably anything from Wicked, to be honest. Yeah, I think any song from Wicked is great. For Good is great, Defying Gravity is great, No Good Deed is great. Like, almost any song from Wicked. What was the one I did the most recently? The Wizard and I, that one is fun too. So anything from Wicked, for sure. Do you think great singers are born? No, I don't. I think some people can be born more naturally geared towards music. You know, some people just like are instinctively really good at matching tones and having good pitch, for example. You know what I mean? And some people aren't maybe gifted with that right away, right off the bat. Some people might struggle to identify and match pitch with what they're hearing and those kinds of things. Does that mean that like that person can't become a great singer? Absolutely not. They just have to work a little bit harder. I know I keep using like fitness as a metaphor, but it is similar, you know? There's a genetic component, but it's not everything, you know? When someone wants to get bigger and stronger and like go to the gym, and some people are just like kind of naturally slimmer, or naturally, you know, they have a certain kind of body frame and maybe a certain metabolism, and they have to sort of work around that. So the plan is different, and maybe you have to work a little harder, but it's attainable for everybody. So that's how I feel about singing as well. Do you have an all-time favorite song to sing that I've sung? A few weeks ago I covered Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper, and I've enjoyed singing that a lot more than I thought I would. But I don't know if I have like a set like favorite. I feel like it varies depending on like how my voice feels, you know? When are you doing a cover in Spanish? I don't know. I sing in Italian sometimes, even though I don't actually speak it fluently. So I feel like I could maybe learn a song phonetically, but I don't know a lot of Spanish music other than like maybe a song that Christina Aguilera covered in the 90s or something. But one day, you never know. Hi, you are a very good singer. Thank you. And do you edit all your videos, or does someone do it at the studio? I do not have a studio. This is my kitchen. Like, this is the kitchen downstairs, what you see. Well, it's like the back wall of the kitchen. I do not have a studio. Like, this setup is a lot more bare bones than I think people realize. Like, that's why I think it's funny when people are like, oh, he's auto-tuned, he's not singing, he's ba-ba-beepity-boppity-boo. I'm like, you have no idea. I have this little USB mic next to me, I'm filming on my phone, and I've got like a light, you know, and that's it. So yeah, I edit all of my videos myself. The editing is very bare bones because I'm not the greatest at editing. The singing is definitely my favorite part. The singing is the part I'm best at, but I edit enough to be able to get by. Can you do more Taylor Swift covers? Maybe Midnight Rain or Getaway Car? I don't know those songs yet because I feel like they're probably some of the newer ones. But I can do some more Taylor Swift covers. I have quite a few covers of hers on my channel at this point, so I don't want to overdo it. But yeah, I'll definitely do some more. Don't worry, I got you covered. How did it feel to see Halle Bailey react to your cover? Actually, this is very, very relevant to my life because this happened only a few days ago. So thank you for this question. Really cool. Halle Bailey recently reacted to my cover of Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid. And the video went live at the beginning of the month on June 1st. And it was super cool. It feels amazing. I think Halle Bailey is just so cute and so sweet, and I think she's so talented. And it meant a lot to me, for sure. Because all of you, not all of you, but those of you who know me know that I am a wannabe Disney princess every single day of my life. Like, I think for me, one of my biggest dreams would absolutely get the opportunity to work with Disney in any sort of music capacity. So that was a super cool moment for me, and I definitely won't forget it. So thank you to Glamour, and thank you to Halle Bailey for making that happen. That was so cool. Your favorite song from Mariah's album Music Box? Anytime you need a friend, I will be here. Anytime You Need a Friend is really good. The actual title song as well, Music Box, is really nice. It's really relaxing. I love Dream Lover. It's hard to pick. But I think Anytime You Need a Friend is probably my favorite. The climax of that song is epic. What's your favorite movie? Not Another Teen Movie, for sure. It's so like stupid silly, you know? And that's definitely my sense of humor. It's also like one of Chris Evans' first movies. I just think it's so funny and ridiculous, so I could definitely like rewatch that movie and not really get tired of it. But I also don't watch a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of TV in general, to be honest. I'm usually playing video games, and the only TV show I like religiously watch is Drag Race, basically. Tom, hello Tom, asks, what's your earliest singing memory? This is a cute question. Also, Tom is a friend of mine. Hello. My earliest singing memory, I think I have like two, basically. One is just when I was super little, my mom would always sing Always Be My Baby by Mariah Carey to me whenever it came on the radio or something, or even on TV. She would sing it with me, like sing it to me, and it always made me like happy, you know? Because that song came out in 1995, so I was 3 years old. So yeah, I think that was definitely an early memory for me. The other one actually has to do with my dad. So my early music memories, I have one for my mom and one for my dad. The one from my dad is he took me to my first ever concert when I was super young as well, and it was the Spice Girls. I was obsessed with them. I wanted to be Baby Spice. Who didn't? My parents found the tickets kind of by luck, like on the day of, and they happened to be front row tickets, which normally I don't think my parents would have been able to afford, but they were like, you know what, it's his first concert, he's a little kid, like, take him. So my dad took me to the Spice Girls concert, front row, and my dad still talks about it to this day. I like didn't take my eyes off the stage. I was just like this the entire time. I could not take my eyes off of it. He was like, Steven, are you having a good time? And I was like, And the other funny part is when we sat down, again, front row tickets, and we noticed there was a lot of security around us, and we looked to our left, and it's because Wayne Gretzky and his daughter were sitting right next to us. So my dad was super happy because he's like a hockey fan. He's like, oh my God, hey Wayne. Nathan asks, how do I get a butt as big as yours? Nathan, be Italian, live in a basement where your family is upstairs, eat a lot of pasta. Or just let my parents adopt you. Do you plan on covering a Brazilian song? If I learn one and connect with one, sure, yeah. I don't know any, but maybe one day. What kind of ice cream is your favorite? And do you dress the ice cream with any toppings, and which toppings? I feel like my favorite ice cream flavor is one that a lot of people don't seem to love for some reason. My favorite flavor is probably mint chocolate chip. I just think it's so good. It's like, it's just refreshing enough, but still like a little bit of chocolatey. I love it. Yeah, mint chocolate chip is my favorite flavor. And it's got enough flavor in it that I don't tend to top it with anything. I feel like I would really only put an ice cream topping on a really simple flavor like vanilla, you know? So yeah, just if I'm gonna have ice cream, I would love just a cup of like mint chocolate chip. Maybe in a waffle cone. A waffle cone. How long do you usually spend practicing, recording, polishing each song, and editing and assimilating videos? Okay. I think I've answered maybe parts of this in past videos. In terms of practicing and recording a song, it really does depend on the song and how difficult it is for me, how well I know it. Like, for example, My All by Mariah Carey, I used this as an example earlier, but it took me about 4 or 5 takes to do that one, just because even though I know that song like the back of my hand, that song is very, very difficult and very challenging. So it took me a really long time, to finally get a take I was happy with. But other songs, like when I did Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper a couple weeks ago, that song kind of sat in a more comfortable spot in my voice. It felt a little more natural, so I did it in like 2 takes, If it's a song that I have never done before, or I have I know but I've never done or haven't done in a long time, I'll just sing through it once or twice before getting in front of the camera. Editing doesn't tend to take that long either, just because I don't do much to my videos, honestly. Like when I'm editing audio, it really is just a matter of like pressing a certain EQ setting, it's called breathy, and like adjusting reverb basically. And then video editing too is very, very simple for me. I don't do anything too complicated, so it doesn't take too long as my MacBook is cooperating with me. How do you like your Moscow mules? This one is from my soccer teammate, Josh. Hi, Josh. Yeah, he owes me a couple of Moscow mules, so that's why he's asking this question. And to answer your question, Josh, on ice, in the copper cup, and with extra ginger beer. It's good for your voice. Are you gonna play or stream the new Diablo 4? Probably not, actually. I've actually never played Diablo. I have never played any of them. So probably not. I feel like whenever I stream on Twitch, I usually just play League of Legends, and I'm starting to realize that in my spare time when I play games, I feel like League of Legends happens to just be all I play at this point. Unless there's like a really good visual novel out. Okay, that was a lot of questions. Thank you all so much for answering It's now 1:30 in the morning. I should go to bed. Thank you guys so much for asking your burning questions. I hope that I was able to answer them somewhat cohesively and coherently, despite how late it is and how tired I am. And hopefully you guys learned something about me that maybe you didn't know before, and maybe I'll do another one of these in like 5 years, I don't know. Thank you so much for sticking with me and for being patient. I know I didn't upload a cover this week. Again, my voice is just tired from the gigs on the weekend. And yeah, I just wanted to answer some questions. So thank you. There will be a cover next week, so don't worry about it. If you liked this video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every week. Make sure you smash that like button, comment, share, and ring that bell so you know when I'm gonna be uploading another video. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm so tired. Take care, Scaccia Fam. I love you guys so much. Bye.